Swear the shit out every tear, every lie. Anybody wanna dance with me? Sipping on my rum in the corner still. We a groove to the morning break. Now we go banana in a sugar shake. Let's do it. Bring the bass up, make a blast a block. Select the girl, this for the well cooked rock. See me, I'm a beam, see me swing. Ting tang, see me like a tingling. I'm a time run, ready till the problems gone. Drop the juice, make a goddamn strong. See me rocking now, going tribal style. Dance like a chicken, flap tiger wild. Flap tiger wild.
Original for them party. Them frightened all through them saw me.
And you're tuned into the Wizard WZRD Chicago, and Scott here brought us that tune. That'd be Major Lazer. Scott, what is that song accompany once in a while, or that band?
Our lead choreographer and co-producer and co-host, Lindsay Marks, tends to use trap music and music like that quite a bit to her unique style of choreography. Not having that as my background, I don't really know how better to explain it than she could, and she's not able to be with us today, but it tends to be very fast, very sexy, super specific movement, very strong percussive movement that our dancers employ.
Okay, Scott, you were following a guest interview of another show, but you and this Lindsay Marks we're hearing about produce another show. Yeah. And what is the honor? What is the occasion?
Totally. So we produce a monthly variety hour at the Den Theater in Chicago called Hindrance and Hysteria. The full title is A Very Official, Most Special, Mandatory Happy Party Prepared by and in honor of the Leader Dearest Hindrance and to some degree his General Executive Liaison Hysteria.
Oh.
And that this will be our sixth show coming up.
Yes. Are you Hindrance or Hysteria?
I am Hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Jack, or a.k.a. Lindsay Marks, is Hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
So Hindrance is the dictator, the sort of youthful dictator character of this fictional country that doesn't actually exist, that is on sort of a Rumspringa before he is set to take power. So getting to explore the world, and specifically Chicago, and taking once a month to explore things that are understandably not allowed in his home country, which he believes to be the greatest country in the world, of course. So there's a lot of like deep state, there's a lot of propaganda feel. We kind of turn the idea of something very dark and messed up as a dictatorship or autocracy and flip it on its head and kind of pick out what a cartoon version of that might look like.
Okay, and give us, let's say, a roundabout how that would look. And what is the country? Please tell us the name.
Well, we never say the name out loud,
Ooh.
actually. We always blur it. It comes in static sounds every time somebody tries to speak the name of our country. But essentially everybody, is following this. He's got kind of an entourage of his military lieutenants, who are the dancers in the show. My military lieutenants are, must be as deadly in dance as they are in fighting. And his cabinet. So we have the liaison of general entertainment. We have the ambassador of United Affairs, and all of these are very out there, very bright, very ridiculous characters that follow Hindrance and kind of do whatever he says and lead him to feel that he is as powerful and as perfect as he believes he is. But of course that's all just a sham, and the audience gets to share in that too. But we start every show, for example, with teaching the international salute, which is really cool because then you get to see who's come to the show before and who is first timer. Like half the audience will already know the salute, and they'll stand up and they'll present it, and the other half kind of look around, wondering what everyone else is doing, and we teach everyone the salute. It's fun. There's a lot of very comfortable audience participation. Nobody has to participate who doesn't want to. That's really important to me. That's important to Lindsay. Is, we've seen bad audience participation before that leads people to be uncomfortable or just want to sink into the back and disappear. And certainly you can do that. There's a lot of consent involved in the room. It ends up being this really bright, fun room where other audience members are encouraging maybe the more shy people to come out of their shell. If they don't want to and they just want to have a night of variety, they can sit in the back and just be super entertained.
Okay, so yourself and your countrymen are the hosts.
Yes.
And variety acts abound.
Yeah, absolutely.
For what, in this particular episode, if you will, this monthly February, is it?
February 25th on Monday.
25th, Monday. Who will be joining you?
That's a great question. So every episode has a theme. We did a theme on America with a question mark at the end of it. We did. That's the one you saw.
That was the one I saw.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming to the show.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
That was our first one.
No.
we were trying a lot, and it was a ton of fun. Every single one has been that so far, and everyone involved ends up having a blast, audience and performer alike. This month, we are celebrating Eros is our theme. So kind of loosely our Valentine's Day themed episode.
Okay.
So we'll be celebrating all things romance and love. We have 3 guest acts that we're very excited about. Bazooka Joe is one of Chicago's top variety entertainers. He's got something very special in store that's silly and sexy, and we're really looking forward to letting him have the stage. Kate Healy is a spoken word artist and a performance artist, and she's developing a brand new piece specifically for this show. And I've read it and I've seen excerpts from it. It's captivating. She's a wonderful performer. Snaps and applause abound every time she hits the stage. So I'm very excited to feature her. And then also Kyle Russell is going to be our vocalist for this episode, and we have Kyle, a.k.a. Kiki Russell, singing a couple different songs that we're going to sort of expose the lyrics of, My Funny Valentine being one of them. Mm-hmm. And so there are guest acts, and then this month also features contortionist and burlesque performer Dahlia Fatal, dancer and performer Pochop, and then on the character ensemble, we have Thomas Wynn, and then Claire Sachs as well of Rough House Puppet Theater. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a killer lineup.
It is. How did you come together, at least to conceive of this? Was it you and Lady Jack at first, or was it a few people? And you keep bringing people aboard. So.
Yeah, it was me and Lady Jack. Mm-hmm. We sort of met where we were performing in the same variety shows and just sort of circling each other for a number of years and seeing each other's work. And it was definitely one of those cool collaborations where you see somebody else work and you really jam on what they do and they jam on what you do. And then you have those conversations of like, man, we should make something together. And it took a while, but eventually we just made it a point to make it happen. We really wanted to, there's a lot of variety in the city. Mm-hmm. This city is incredible when it comes to the amount of talent, and every single night there's an option for you to do something somewhere, and usually for, pretty inexpensively. And we really wanted to do 2 major things. We wanted to make a variety show that wasn't specifically just your run-of-the-mill, you have a host and everything's sort of disconnected, and it's a good combo of things, but they all stand separately. We really wanted to create a tapestry and focus on world building where the hosts never change, and you can kind of follow a story arc, not only if you see multiple shows, but even in the evening that you attend, there's a little bit of a story, and you get to watch things and how they intersect and really weave in the variety acts and the special guest acts as part of one cohesive story. So it's funny, Lindsay, who's Lady Jack, about a month ago, she said, we wanted to create a variety show and we accidentally ended up making a new devised piece of theater once a month. And that's what it's turned into. So it's a lot of work. There's a ton of heart and soul and brain behind it, but it is so gratifying. So we wanted to do that, to have a more cohesive show that was really gave the audience a bang for their buck. And we also wanted to be able to feature performers that are at the top of their game, but maybe only get hired to do certain events that are super regular for them. So a lot of industry performers, people that are, on Friday and Saturday nights, they're booked up, months in advance because they're the best at what they do. We wanted to give them a Monday night opportunity to do what they really want to do, to foster that brain baby that's been sitting in the back of their heads that nobody really hires them out for, because maybe it's a little weird or maybe it's a little offbeat, but it allows that high talent to give them the opportunity and the platform to have something new fostered that they're really passionate about, and they just maybe don't have any other venue to do.
Okay. And then I presume relationships are built on a monthly basis, new and old growing.
Yeah, it's really cool. We have, sort of a core of ensemble members that are maybe more character performers or clown performers on my end, and then the dancer performers on Lindsay's end, and then we bring them together, and they will come and repeat and play the same characters, discovering new things, or we'll get to fold in people, on a personal point of view. This has been super gratifying for me because, like how Lindsay and I started sort of circling each other, it's given me a platform to finally work with people that I've been observing in the city for years, and it gives me an excuse to get in a room with them for a certain amount of hours every month and make something brand new. Yeah. People that otherwise I would maybe not have the relationship with. It's sort of it's definitely artistically it's a fire under all of our butts to make something new, and it gives that, people are buying tickets, this is happening, we better come through. So it's, and I really believe in that. I believe in that as far as collaboration with other artists. If you say it's going to happen, you better give yourself a date, you better give yourself a time, and then it has to happen. And there's this amazing fire that takes place when you get each other in that room together.
With the deadline.
Yeah.
And then the dictator kind of different country and that environment, was that based in the times, or was that something you had all thought of previously? Or, I mean, we're in unique times, as they all are, but...
Yeah, a little bit of both. So that was something, that was a character that I had already established years ago, and just got to kind of bring back around. We were thinking of, there is a healthy amount of social satire that happens in this show as well. So there's just a big spoonful of entertainment to help a little bit of social satire go down. And instead of doing something that's directly ripping on our current state of affairs and our ridiculous president or other ridiculous leaders that exist in the world, we more wanted to get at the core of what that is, of people in power behaving like children, people that are, essentially deserve to have a giant diaper on because of the way they're treating things. So to see sort of a cartoonish leader in power that treats people really adolescently, that's the core that we wanted to get at, and that's our point of view. Someone who is just thinks so highly of themselves and is so ridiculous. But the way I try to portray that is that this is the childish dictator that you wish you had, as opposed to your current regime.
I don't know. I saw the show and I did not wish to have that as my dictator. I mean, that fella was brutal to his clowns and to not to the audience. You were so kind to the audience.
Well, good. That's the point. And, it's brutal with care. John Carlos Claudio was the circus performer who was with me that I got to be a little bit brutal with. And he and I have a really good physical rapport, and we work really well together. And so all of that was done very safely. John Carlos is fine, I assure you.
Who are some of the other mainstays, if you wouldn't mind mentioning a few names?
Tila Von Twirl is another variety and burlesque performer. Eva LaFiva dances with us often. Let's see. Chris Miller, or Mueller, rather. Sorry, Chris, is a podcast host, and he has been one of my clowns a couple of times. Alex Knapp, Alexander the Amazing, Vanessa Valieri. Brad French has been on the show a couple of times. Brad French, or the Silver Fox, as he's also known, performs almost every night. He's all over town. He works like crazy, and we're glad to have him whenever we can.
Yeah. Who I've been heard described as, when there is a slip up, it tends to be, or can be, more hilarious than were the act to go as planned.
100%. Yeah. He's so good about being in the moment, and he's been doing what he does for a very long time. He's super inspiring to watch and to kind of aspire towards. We should all be that flexible when it comes to live entertainment. Especially or life, yeah, to be able to turn things on their head and accept things, and there's a clown phrase which I'm not going to use because of the specific of it, but sit in the poop. Just when something goes wrong, take a moment, observe, connect with the audience, look in their eyes, accept that we're all humans, and that actually tends to be more funny and more relatable, and you as an audience will open yourself up and become more vulnerable because nobody's trying to hide the mistake or put it away. They're sharing it with you for a moment. Yeah. I think that's what I love the most about theater without a fourth wall in general, is that it's a shared experience of humanity.
Mm-hmm. You've been doing this for quite a many years. What led you to this line of work, this talent, this love of yours?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in theater since I was 10 years old, and that's taken many different forms. I think in the last few years, this is the strongest form for me. I keep mentioning without a fourth wall, and for those people who don't know what that means, the traditional fourth wall in theater is where the actors on stage pretend that you as the audience are not actually there. There's an imaginary fourth wall in between you and the performers. And the reason I keep gravitating towards theater without that is because it connects to the audience in a way that traditional theater can't. Mm-hmm. I've been doing work like this for probably the last 6 or 7 years. Mm-hmm. I discovered the world of clown in college, and since then have kind of climbed the ladder. Every instructor that I have, I want to find out who they studied from, and I will study with them, and then I find out who they studied from, and I've discovered this amazing national and international community of performance art and clown theater and work like that that is just astounding in its rapport with the audience and what it can do to change people's experience. Theater that takes the audience in a certain way, they have an experience, and they leave that night being altered just a little bit, changed somehow slightly.
Mentioning that you do this plenty, where else or when else? In the last year or so, I really wanted to gravitate towards making my own work. And I think that's the case with a lot of artists after being in someone else's show often enough. There are certain artists that just want to have their voices heard, and that manifests in whatever their specialty is. For me, it is bringing people together. I mean, that tends to be something I've always been very good at, and that's the secret of this show. The reason why Hindrance and Hysteria is as good as it is every single month is just
bringing the right people in the room together. That I feel like is my greatest superpower is bringing people together that I know would work well together. And I think that I've been making my own work more so that I can tap into that. But other places that I tend to work, I am rehearsing right now with Theater Unspeakable. Theater Unspeakable performs all over the country. They do a tour, several tours, but the one I'm working on right now is called The American Revolution. And it is the story of the American Revolution as told in 50 minutes by 7 actors on a 5-foot by 7-foot platform that's raised 2.5 feet above the ground. And all 7 performers are on the platform the entirety of the 50 minutes. There's no props, there's no sets, there are no costumes. We form the story and the characters and the set using our bodies. So Theater Unspeakable is really great. The artistic director is Mark Frost. And they also have a show called Moonshot about the first moon landing. They used to do a show called Superman 2050 about the creation of those stories as well. So I work with them often. And then I've really been diving headlong into a lot of different variety shows and performing with them when I can. There's a show that I got to do recently. Alex Grelly curates Ordinary Peepholes, which is at Beauty Bar in Chicago on Mondays. Unfortunately, we're going to share the same Monday coming up this 25th. But when we're offset, I like to collaborate in that show whenever I can. Just a lot of variety. I was inspired by Lindsay to dance more and to use my body and to explore that world more. So over the last 3 years, I've been dancing in the Fly Honey Show. The Fly Honey Show is done by The Inconvenience, and it's this amazing show that I think is coming up on its 9th or 10th year. I can't quite remember. Huge celebration every summer in July and August, or maybe August and September. That is just super body positive and femme powered and tells the stories and gives voice to those who don't typically have a voice. And it's this amazing, almost religious experience every single year. And I'm a proud ensemble member of the Hive, or the Fly Homies, as we like to call it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And definitely for now, much of your creative juice is flowing into Hindrance and Hysterica.
Yeah,
Hysteria.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's cool the way that it's growing and the potential and the things that Lindsay and I want to do with it. There are some talks that I don't think I can confirm anything right now because, signatures aren't on the page, but we're looking at a couple different venues to expand out to maybe do more than one show a month. Yeah, to still have a regular monthly appearance, but then also do another venue. There's a couple festivals that we're talking about maybe featuring our unique brand of art in, where it's nice because I think it bends genre, and I think that's what's attractive about it, or one of the many things that's attractive about it is it's not just dance, it's not just music, it's a little bit of everything, kind of all pulled together in like a really fun and I like to say weirdly sexy and dangerously funny when describing what we do.
It's a great description, and just from my own personal, it's a great show. I enjoy it, and please do mention to folks where and when they can see you again, and we'd love to play some music that you recommended for us.
Absolutely. So the next show, as I said, is February 25th. It's on Monday. It's 8 p.m. at the Den Theater. You can go to the Den Theater with an R-E, theaterwithanre.org, and buy your tickets there. If you want to look at us on Facebook, you can just search Hindrance and Hysteria, and the event will come up. Hindrance and Hysteria Eros is the next event. You can follow Lady Jack on Instagram at It's Lindsay Marks, Lindsay with an E. You can follow me on Instagram at Nobleboard, Noblebored, Nobleboard.
Wonderful. Scott, thank you for joining us.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This place is incredible.
All right, I'm glad. And you'll be back.
Yeah.
Yes?
As often as I can.
We would love to hear about the future shows and
Totally.
and thereafter. All right. Thank you, Scott. Have a wonderful show this weekend. We're going to play by your request. The title of the song is Hot Blooded Woman, but tell us about the band.
And this is Baby Money and the Down Payments?
Mhm.
Oh, great. Baby Money and the Down Payments, I've been listening to. Pam Maurer is a dear friend and was featured in last month's show for our Resolutions show and just rocked the house solo. So this is what it sounds like when it's a little bit more plugged in and when she has her band with her.
Right on. You are tuned into the Wizard, WZRD Chicago, 773-442-4578, www.wzrdchicago.org, and 88.3 FM on your dial. Thanks for tuning in.